Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the Dawah workshop. Imagine you're a salesperson, right? And you're only getting paid when a person signs the contract. So you sit there and you're persuading them to buy this product, whatever the product is, or to invest this money in this scheme. You only are going to get paid if you get the guy to sign the check. Oh, by the way, and you only get paid if he makes regular payments. If he signs the thing and then he cancels the direct debit, okay, you might get paid a little bit. I know, because I used to work. Before I was a Muslim, I used to sell life assurance. That's how it used to work. They would give you a small amount of money. For every person you signed up, you would get, I don't know, £25 or whatever it is. But the real money only came in after these people had paid up for a year. So then you would really get your commission. Okay? It's the same thing. You're going to put all of this work into explaining to them, here's our product, this is it, or whatever, okay? And then they say, oh, that's very nice, give me a leaflet. And off you go. And then what? Someone else will sign him up and get a whole bunch of the ajr that you could be getting. Yeah? So inshallah, you'll still get some reward, but okay, so the point, it's go for gold. That's getting the Shahada. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that the Shahadas are quality Shahadas. So on the other hand, we are not just trying to con people and persuade people, right, with lies and with false expectations. Right? That's easy. If I say to a person, okay, sign this document here and you'll get £1 million tomorrow. Right? And I just tell them a lot of rubbish. It's not difficult to get people to sign up to that, but you just lied to them. So then you can say, oh, I got so many shahadas. Really? When you phone them up and you phone the person the next day, it's like, okay, hello there, Raj, we heard you became Muslim. No? What are you talking about? I never became Muslim. Well, didn't you meet this guy and you took shahada? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Puts the phone down. Well, what's the point? Yeah? So we have to find a balance between the two things. Yeah, we want the person to take the shahada. Don't put all that effort and let them get away so easily. We're going to discuss that anyway. This is our next point of discussion. So, any more questions? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My friend is giving a dawah to an atheist. He told, give me a benefit of believing in God. And he said that Chinese people are the people who are believing less in God. And China is developing. What is the benefit in believing God?
The point here is that I don't understand the connection between the two things. I don't understand. What has believing in God got to do with developing? We're just talking about whether it makes sense that God exists or not. That's all. Let's just stick with the subject. Does God exist or not? It's irrelevant whether believing in God makes you developed or underdeveloped as a nation, or what's that got to do with anything? I don't understand. That's what I would say. I do not understand what your point is. So we're trying to discuss whether it makes rational sense that the Creator exists or not. Whether believing the Creator exists or not has got no link to development. Even the Quran says whether you believe or you don't believe. We give our bounties to some and we withhold for others, whether they believe or they don't believe. So Allah provides to some people who are disbelievers and withholds for some people who are believers. So you find believers who are rich and believers who are poor, and you find unbelievers who are rich and unbelievers who are poor. So whether a person has wealth or not, whether a country has wealth or not, has got nothing to do with belief in God and religion. Right? As, by the way, what has wealth got to do with happiness? Read any book on psychology, any book on human psychology that deals with happiness, and they will tell you that after a simple base level, as long as a person has adequate shelter, enough food for a day, enough clothing to keep them, from being harmed by the elements, so the most basic level of living, once a human being has the most basic level of living for survival and basic comfort, increase in money has never been shown to increase happiness. There is no correspondence between increase in money and increase in happiness. In fact, there are a lot of studies to show almost the opposite, that the more wealth you get, the less likely you are to be happy. So this is a myth, the idea that because you're more advanced and you're advancing and you have more industry and you have more money, therefore, so what? If you're more unhappy, what's the point? If I give you more money and you're going to be more unhappy, do you want more money if you're going to be more unhappy? I think it'd be very stupid. Or you're deluded. The only reason you would agree is because you actually still think that having more money is going to make me more happy. It's the only reason you take it. If you knew definitely and certainly having more money is going to make you more miserable, you wouldn't take it. And say, no, because what I'm looking for is happiness. Money you think is the means. That's what you think. But what if it's not? So the point is, I don't think it's relevant. That's what I would say to that person. I would say, I think you're very confused. With all respect. What has this got to do with that? Yeah? Yes.
How to deal with the insecure person? Like, we go and understand him that this is Islam and this is the way of life. And then he agrees. And then suddenly he says, oh man, I've got my parents, I've got my society. So in this situation, he takes his step back.
This is a very, very good point. So I think this moves us into the discussion. We've got to the stage where people are ready to take Shahada. We've gone through Go Rap. They've agreed with us. Yes, I believe there's one God. It makes sense. I believe God is unique. It makes sense. I believe what you said about the Quran. I believe what you said about Prophet Muhammad. So you invite them to accept Islam, and they may now start coming with excuses. Like the brother said, they're insecure. My family. So let's think about all the different things non-Muslims might say. So one of the things they might say is, my family. What will my family say and what will my friends say? How can we deal with this? One way is to actually make them think about the reality of the situation. Because often what we imagine is going to be a lot worse than how it really is. So there was a program recently on BBC about a girl who had converted to Islam. I think it was called Allah Made Me Muslim, or I don't remember what it was called. And the biggest worry this girl had was, what are my parents going to say to me? This was her biggest worry. She was so worried, but she worked herself up into this state where she was going to go and tell her parents, and she had to really prepare for it. And then she walked into the house and she was ready for this drama. She was ready for crying. She was ready for whatever. Her parents not talking to her. And she went in and she said, and she just blurted it out. Everything she planned, she forgot it. And she blurted, I've become Muslim. They said, oh, we thought you were Muslim already. We already thought you'd become Muslim already. It's like, oh, you thought you were already a Muslim. Or even more amazing, Yusuf Estes, his story, you must have all heard Yusuf's story of how he converted to Islam, thinking, I'm going to tell my wife, what am I going to say to my wife, and this and that. And when he went to tell her, she said, no, I'm already Muslim. And you're just saying that. You're just saying that because, you want to stay with me. I don't really believe you're a Muslim, right? Subhanallah. So sometimes what you imagine is a lot worse than what it is. So you can say that. And then you can also, look at as reverse psychology. Okay, maybe it is going to be bad. It's true. It will not be nice. But how bad is it going to be? That's what you say. Okay, come on, you say, okay, even if your parents are upset, how bad is it going to be? Are they going to take you into the desert and pin you down in the desert and put burning hot coals on your back? Right? and keep torturing you until you worship whatever god or goddess. Is that what they're going to do? So maybe they'll go, oh, nice. So come on, how bad is it going to be? Then also you say this is the test. Paradise is not for free. This is about paradise. This is about truth. You think paradise is for free? It's not for free. You have to work for it. This is the test. Now, it may be that the person, on the other hand, will actually be tortured. It's not unknown. So then my advice would be, listen, don't let that stop you embracing the truth. Even if you have to hide it, it is better that you accept it. And then you will find Allah will give you strength. Yeah? So look, here's the truth, accept the truth. When you find the strength to tell your family, when you find your strength to show them what you really believe, that can come after. Everything comes in steps. Right? You're not asking the baby to run before it can even crawl, right? First you have to learn to crawl. Then your baby will learn to stand. Then it will walk a bit. It's the same in Islam. Take everything by steps, take everything by stages. Yeah? So this is some of the advice you could give to that person. What other sort of questions or issues that a person may raise? Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break. Please don't go away because we'll be back very soon, inshallah. Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to our Dawah workshop. What other sort of questions or issues that a person may raise? Yes, Salim.
What if he says, well, I'll think it over?
Okay. Now this depends. It really does depend. Some people genuinely do need to go and think it over. If the person is really not convinced, then it is not right for you to ask them to take Shahada, because you're asking them in a sense to lie. Because you're asking them to say, Ashhadu, I testify. You only can testify to something you have some degree of knowledge and certainty about. That is why, by the way, in order to clarify this, one of the things that we suggest you say before the Shahada is, does what I'm saying make more sense than what you believe right now? Yeah? So after we have articulated Gawrab, we've explained to them the pillars of Islam, say, does this make more sense than what you believe right now or what you used to believe? Inshallah, they will say yes. So isn't the right thing to do is follow that which makes more sense? No one's insisting that you have 100% certainty. Very few people have 100% certainty. You may have some doubts, you may have some questions. All of us, I'm sure, have doubts and questions. Does that mean we are not believers in Allah? Does that mean we don't believe in Islam? No. It's only when the doubts are fundamental, when the doubts are so deep and so profound, we are questioning whether the religion is true or not. No. If it's at the stage, I know the religion is true, I know the Quran is from Allah, I know Muhammad is the Prophet, but I have a doubt about this issue, I have a doubt about this issue, I'm not 100% sure about this. This is different. So all that is important here is the person is more sure than they're not. Yeah? So that's the first thing. So then we can go back and say, okay, when you say that you have, I need to go and investigate more, I need to, on what basis? Detail that for me. Do you have fundamental doubts about what I've been saying? Do you feel more sure about what you believed before or what I have articulated to you? So then what you want to do is find out where the problem is. Is there a genuine problem? Can you sort it out? The problem may not be solved, or it may not be solvable within the context of a conversation. The person may say, I need to read the Quran first. I cannot follow a book even if everything you say makes sense. I am not ready to follow a book until I can study actually what does it say. I am not prepared just to trust you. I want to read it myself. So that's fair enough, right? Or if the person says, I need to know more about Prophet Muhammad. Yes, everything you said to me seems to be okay, but I'm not really sure. I need to research this more to make sure that what you're saying is really true to me, because I'm not ready to leave my religion just on a conversation. So the person might be genuinely sincere. So with a person like that, then generally I would give them the space. I would give them the books to read. I would direct them in the right direction. Yeah? Okay? But I'm not going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because I can see this person genuinely needs to study more. So you have to weigh the things up. Yeah, you have to weigh the things up. So it depends. That's what I'm saying. Make an assessment. Okay, so any more questions or things that a person who is just about to take Shahada and then they bring up some issues? This is all we're dealing with now. Yeah? We've got the thing, we've gone through Go Rap, we've said everything, they're ready on the point of taking Shahada, and it's like, my family. Oh, I'm not sure, I need to research more. Yeah? Depends what it's about. Some people say, I need to look at all the other religions. No, I would not accept that. I would say, okay, what other religions are you talking about? This is the other beautiful thing about Go Rap. You've covered everything. All the basic religious beliefs that a human being could have, we have already covered it. So what's not covered? All the basic beliefs have been covered in Go Rap. That's another beautiful thing about it. So it's like, what particular religious belief in general is it? No, I know we didn't cover every single religion, but we covered all the belief systems. Everything is pretty much covered. So we wouldn't really agree with that or let them get away with that. Yes, you had a question?
Actually, I have this two live examples with me of two of my friends. Basically, what we are talking about is the quality of Shahada. Like, we can come to know with the conversation what we have for last 15-20 minutes with that particular person or whatever time limit. I have this person, one of my close friend who was staying with me. When from being born in a Muslim family and to practicing Islam, that happened to me almost 6 to 7 years back. I had a friend of mine staying with me, and he used to observe me. At that time, I used to tell him, and he used to question me a lot of things like, what you're doing, why you're doing this. At that time, I didn't ask him to take Shahada, and he went on with his life, and then I had to come back to India. And over here, I delivered some speeches to my close friend and asked him to take the Shahada. He was convinced. He did take the Shahada. But then after that, I noticed that he was, ignoring me. Like, whenever I used to confront him, he used to move away, maybe shy away.
Okay,
like,
what's the point, brother?
The point was like, that was, the Shahada was not a quality one. Wherein the other friend of mine, he came back to India and he said, I had observed you, and then I started reading, and now I want to accept Islam. And then he took Shahada.
Okay. So we're going to deal with this later, right? We're going to deal with the issue of retaining the Shahadas later. And we said this is a very, very important part of the training. What do we do after the Shahada? We're going to talk about that, inshallah, in the next series of episodes. But today, right now, we're just talking about people who have not taken the Shahada yet, and we've just got to the point where we think this person should be ready to take the Shahada. We've gone through Go Rap, but they're saying no for some reason or another. So what other things can they say? I need this, I want that, such and such, whatever. Yes.
A person may agree to all the logics of the Go Rap, but in the end he may say, why would I recite the Shahada in Arabic? Can you logically prove this?
Okay. The whole of Go Rap, from the beginning, was to instill within them one important idea, is that once God has told us to do something, we should do it. Right? And you can say, actually, even if you don't say it in Arabic, you are still affirming that there is only one God and that Muhammad is the messenger. However, from what I know of the religion, that is something that is part of the manners and the etiquettes of taking the Shahada, that you say it in Arabic. The wisdom of it, Allah knows best. This is just part of surrendering and submitting yourself to God. Not only that, that you should do it in the presence of other Muslims. Because you are not only affirming some philosophical belief or some belief system, you are joining a community. That's, by the way, another thing we often say is that join the brotherhood of Islam, the nation of people. So actually, when a person becomes a Muslim, they are not just saying, yes, I believe there's a God and Muhammad is the Prophet of God and there's this book called the Quran. No, it's something much more significant than that. And that's why the Shahada technically has to be witnessed. So we know this person is joining the community of Muslims. So that means that person has an obligation upon us now, and we have an obligation towards that person now. So this is also a very important dimension of the Shahada, that they are joining our community. They have joined our nation. So just as if someone comes to live in UK, right? And if they become a citizen, they get a passport, they get access to social security, they get access to the National Health Service, they get the ability to enjoy all the things that you can enjoy in England, but they also have to pay taxes, they have to obey the laws, right? They also have to learn what does it mean to be a citizen in UK. So you get something and you give something. It's the same thing. When a person becomes a Muslim, we have some things we have to give to them and they have some obligations they have to give to us. So this is an important dimension about it. This is not based upon logic and reason. This is based upon what God and His Messenger has commanded us. And we've already given you logical and reasonable explanations why the Quran is from God and Muhammad is the Messenger. So if God says it, you should do it, inshallah. So that's fantastic. We will continue with some more of these questions and some more of these issues in a forthcoming episode, inshallah. Until then, brothers, assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters watching, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
رب رحيم مشفق متعطف لا ينتهي بالحصر ما أعطاه رب رحيم مشفق متعطف